This week's video is sponsored by Squarespace, the all-in-one platform to build your perfect website. I don't like to make assumptions on this channel, but if you're into landscape or outdoor photography, the chances are that you've come home from a great shoot only to find one of your favourite photos isn't quite as sharp as you hoped it would be. It's happened to me on quite a few occasions over the years. So in this video, I'd like to talk about the main reason this is likely to happen and, more importantly, how we can fix it. So I've just returned from a very interesting few days in North Wales where we had some pretty sketchy weather. I'll leave a link to that video below if you fancy taking a look at how that panned out. But during that video, I found myself trying to shoot this waterfall in some, quite frankly, ridiculous conditions. Temperatures were below freezing, the wind was probably gusting at around about 50, and I was already soaked from several hours of rain whilst hiking out to get to this particular location. Now, for this particular image, I wanted to show some movement in the water, but of course, make sure I could get the boulders and also the mountains sharp at the same time. And typically, I would have used a tripod for this shot. However, I knew the chances of my tripod blowing over was pretty high, so I decided to handhold, which is probably the safest option. Plus, I didn't want to hang around up there as it was getting pretty exposed and had already been knocked off balance once. I didn't fancy going for a swim in that freezing cold water. So from a technical standpoint, I think I made the right decision. I shot this at f8 at 1/20th of a second, which usually I can handhold with the X-H2 no problem at all, especially at 9mm. However, on this occasion, I didn't quite get a sharp image. Now, although I took multiple images from this location, about 20 I think in total, I only took one frame of this particular angle, and unfortunately it was my favourite composition of them all. And as we can see here, there's some camera shake on the left hand side of the frame and also at the top in the mountains as well. Now this would be fine for social media, but for my website or printing, this is going to show up like a sore thumb. So a couple of things that we can do in the field at the time of shooting are two things that I didn't actually do while taking this image. The first, I guess, was from a creative point of view. For me, I felt this image needed movement in the water, so I needed that slow shutter speed. But if that wasn't the case, I've definitely been raising my ISO so I could get at least 1/100th of a second in that situation. And at that speed, I would have walked away with a sharp image, I think. And secondly, take a lot of images, and this is something I failed to do here. Typically I would be shooting maybe 20 shots of this composition alone, maybe say put the camera in continuous shooting and yeah, just take a bunch of shots and hedge my bets. So I'm, I guess, kicking myself quite a bit here for not doing this. It's something I would usually do, but in the moment, yeah, I just forgot. And thirdly, reviewing your shots. Now I did try to do this, however the wind was so strong I couldn't actually hold the camera still enough to properly check. Plus my eyes were watering as well from the cold wind. So yeah, I failed to spot the camera shake in this image as well. However, all is not lost because we can rescue these mistakes in the edit, and I'm going to show you a few different ways that you can do this in 3 different programs just after I thank the sponsor of this week's video, which is Squarespace. So I've been writing a new blog post on my website this week, which is a great way to get your work seen. And with Squarespace, it's really easy to do. You just upload your images, add your text, and Squarespace takes care of the SEO and indexing, meaning you can put your work in front of the people that matter the most on all of the major search engines. The great thing is you don't need any experience at all with web design because Squarespace is a website builder with loads of amazing templates that help you create a customized site in just a few simple steps. You can even sell your own products by creating an online store as well. I highly recommend it, so if you would like to create your very own website, you can head over to squarespace.com for a free trial. Then when you're ready to launch it, you can go to squarespace.com/IANWORTH to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. Now the link is in the description below, and clicking it really does help support this channel as well. So thanks in advance for checking those out. And if you're interested in taking a look at my photo galleries as well, I'll leave the link for that down below as well. Right, let's fix this photo. So first up in Lightroom, there's a few things that we can do to help improve this camera shake a little bit. But this is the, I guess, least effective of the three ways that I'm going to mention today. But it can work well if there's not too much softness. So firstly, in Lightroom, obviously we could hit this with loads of global sharpening, but the reality is we're not going to fix the main problem, and we'll be sharpening things like the water and the sky, which don't necessarily need sharpening in my opinion. So I think an option here would be to use a mask, and I'm going to use the object selection tool and select this section on the left and just play around with the clarity and texture sharpening sliders to improve things. Now, of course, this is a good way to improve local sharpness, but it's not really going to solve the edge of these rocks and the mountains where you can see that little bit of motion blur. So for this, I'm going to have to take this shot into Photoshop to really enhance it some more. So here we are in Photoshop, and I have to say this method can get you out of a sticky situation, and I've used this many times, but there is another method as well that I think is even better than this one, which uses a different program altogether. But first, let's take a look at this, because this can solve minor issues and will probably work fine for this particular shot actually. So the funny thing with this image is that the right hand side of the shot is absolutely fine, but it's the left side that's the problem. I've had this a couple of times with the Fuji X-H2 when I've been hand holding it with a wide angle lens. Now I'm not sure why it's always the left side, but I should also point out that my hands were shaking really badly from the wind, and I was also holding the camera out here from my body like this, or actually down here at a low angle. And yeah, it's not the ideal position or technique, to be honest. So typically if it's windy and you're using quite a slow shutter speed, the best technique would be to press the camera up against your head and use the viewfinder, meaning you've got 3 points of contact with the camera. But there was no way that I was going to get my head down at that low angle near those rocks without taking a dip in that freezing cold water, which is definitely not something I would want to do. Anyway, let's see if we can rescue this in Photoshop. So first up, we want to duplicate the layer by pressing Command and J on the keyboard, and then come up to Filter, Sharpen and Smart Sharpen. And this brings up the Smart Sharpen box. And from the Remove checkbox, click Motion Blur. And this is really important because it allows us to change the angle. So I'm going to rotate the angle to a similar direction and then play around with the amount and radius sliders until I get a slightly over sharpened image. I think it's fine to overdo this here because we will then use a mask to paint this effect into the areas that we want it to be in. So if I toggle this layer on and off, you can see what that's doing to this layer. Before and after, before and after. So the next step is to create a mask, and I just want to paint this in where I need it to be. So the rectangle with a circle is the Add New Layer Mask button, and you can see now that it's added a white layer mask to the image. And when it's white, that means it's revealing all of the effects that we've done on that layer. So in our case, sharpening the whole entire image. Now, as mentioned, we don't want that, do we? You know, we're making the water look weird, and we definitely don't want to sharpen the sky as well, because that's just going to accentuate the noise in that area. So what we're going to do is invert the mask and make it black. And when the mask is black, it hides everything in that layer. White reveals, black conceals. So now all we need to do is simply grab a brush, load it with white paint, and paint on the mask wherever we want to reveal that sharpening effects that we added to that layer. So yeah, I'm just going to paint over the top left side and the top of the mountain. And now I probably would do this a little bit more carefully, but for the sake of the video length, you kind of get my drift. So this lets you be really selective, and I think this is probably okay for this image. But like I mentioned, I do have a better solution as well, which we're going to dive into next. But let's look at this, what we've done here quickly. So here's the before and the after. Yeah, and I think this is probably acceptable. So the next tool I will be using, in my opinion, is the best method of all three. And it's with a program that I've had for many, many years now, but only tend to use for very specific things. And that is Luminar Neo. Now, if you don't have the Adobe Creative Cloud package, this is probably going to be one of the best options because it will work out probably quite a bit more cost effective than the Adobe plan. And you can also edit your photos in there as well. It's quite a good program for that too. Now, Luminar has a tool called Super Sharp, and this is a great way of fixing motion blur, and it is really, really easy to do. So let's go and take a look at this, and it will fix this image completely. So come over to Super Sharp, then click on Motion Blur. Then for this image where things are not completely terrible, I'm going to select Low from the Amount section. If it was worse than this, I'd probably experiment with the other options, but let's see how well this has done. And with just a couple of clicks, this image is looking absolutely perfect. It really does blow me away every time I see what this program can do with motion blur. However, what I don't like is that it sharpens the water as well. So what I'm going to do is click on the masking section and then select Erase and paint out the waterfall. Now everything is corrected apart from the waterfall. Now I've done this loosely, but you get the idea. This is such a powerful tool for saving your soft images. I think it does an absolutely brilliant job and can definitely get you out of the you-know-what. Now, there are a couple of other tools out there as well, like Topaz, but I think Luminar is probably the most cost-effective one. Let me know down in the comments if you know of any free programs that can do this, or other pieces of software that could do maybe even better than Luminar. Please do let me know. I always enjoy hearing your thoughts. Now, if you would like to see how rough these conditions really were, feel free to check out this video here. You'll be able to take a look for yourself. And over on this side, you'll find a link to my website where you'll find loads of things that might help you with your photography. Anyway, until next week, thanks so much for watching. Take care.